Our second surprising death of the week. Jon Edwards, just a titan of communications in the background of NASCAR for so many years with some of the biggest and best drivers, Jeff Gordon and recently Kyle Larson. Was the director of communications for Hendrick Motorsports. So you can see the outpouring of support all over social media and what this man has meant to the sport. So we wanted to bring in our digital reporter who covers NASCAR, but many other things for us as well. Nathan, you're a man that wears many hats, but you and I have an affinity for the same thing, which is motorsport. A tragic news, obviously, with Jon Edwards dying. And I recently just said the passing of Mr. Hattori, which was obviously a surprising, a tragic accident that happened there. We don't know the details behind Mr. Edwards' passing just yet, but as I said, you can see how large of a mark he made on the sport. Kind of give us a little bit more about him that maybe we don't know.
Sure. So as far as I know, he was a PR manager for Jeff Gordon for a few decades.
Okay.
He actually tweeted a few days ago before the race at Darlington that it was his 31st anniversary of when he had actually joined Hendrick Motorsports and joined to become Jeff Gordon's PR person. So doing math in my head right now, I think that's 1994.
Yes.
That's the same year Jeff Gordon won his first race. Okay. And it's an insane timeline that he had with this team in the sport, and the outpouring of support you mentioned. I think that just goes to show that the racing community is just so tight, and it's such a small, not necessarily a small group, but a very condensed group together. A lot of these people, most of them are traveling together 40 weeks out of the year, week in, week out. You see the same people, even from when I've gone to the media centers, whether it be here in Charlotte or last week when I was in Darlington. You see the same people every week, so it's like naturally you're going to form friendships, you're going to form relationships with people who are there. So for someone who is there for 31 years, I mean, that's an insane amount of time. And I can't personally say I ever knew him, but obviously seeing on social media just how many people, whether it be the drivers themselves or people in the media or everyone, is just kind of showing how good of a person he was. It seems like he was a golden person, and very unfortunate. Can't speculate at all on what happened that led to his death, but obviously with him tweeting not just a few days ago, obviously it's probably pretty sudden and pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, and with your background in motorsport, I mean, these guys, these communications directors, especially with their role with drivers like Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson, they have such an intricate relationship, whether it's to protect them from certain questions or to prepare them for the media. We see it in Formula One all the time, how closely those individuals work together. And really there's a bond between them. And, you saw, I think we have the Jeff Gordon tweet, so we can pull that up here. But he worked with Jeff Gordon for years, as you related. And this is what Mr. Gordon tweeted a little bit earlier this evening, saying that he was devastated by the loss of his dear friend Jon. Almost 3 decades, as you were alluding to, 31 years at Hendrick. They were side by side through every high and low, every celebration, every challenge. One of the most loyal, hardworking, and selfless people that Jeff's ever known, and we'll be forever grateful for his immeasurable impact on the life and on Jeff Gordon's career. Obviously, our heart and prayers go out to Jon's family and everyone who loved him. He was truly one of a kind. So that just kind of bodes to what I was saying, right? I mean, they get really close, and it's a very unique job, it seems. Can you kind of give us an idea of what like a race weekend would look like for a person like Mr. Edwards to be with a Kyle Larson? What did that look like?
Sure. So to a lot of people, you just show up in the car and you go around in circles for 3 hours. you get out and you go home, right?
Easy, right?
But it's so much more than that.
Right.
Like their schedule from Sunday to from each Sunday to each Sunday. I mean, on Monday and Tuesday, I've heard that really all they're doing is planning for interviews, whether it's with WCNC Charlotte, whether it's with The Athletic or the Charlotte Observer, all these different entities, and you also have all these sponsorship obligations, because that's really the only reason the teams are there. That's really the only reason that the drivers are there, is because someone's paying for this sponsorship money.
Right.
So there's so many obligations, and it's such tight relationship a driver needs with their communications person is to be able to put that together and be able to sell whatever they're selling and say why their sponsorship should stay with them, and their PR person is also there to probably help them
Deflect, right?
Deflect, yes, but mold their personality too.
Okay.
Because I've been in interviews with younger drivers who maybe don't have that super strong PR push, and after the interview, like I'll ask a question where maybe I'm trying to get them to laugh or something, and then after the interview, the PR person would be like, okay, next time when somebody asks you a joking question, kind of laugh, kind of lean into it, laugh, and kind of so really it's such a unique thing that Mr. Edwards, probably a talent that he had in order to mold Jeff Gordon into the person he was, and same with Kyle Larson now.
Yeah, I mean, they wear so many hats, as you alluded to. I mean, you're deflecting, maybe you're preparing, and let's not forget. I mean, these are intense, critical moments in the heats of battle during races, right? So a lot of times that person also can tamp down tempers, get those folks ready in those type of situations to view the media. And like you said, it really is an important job for those people to be prepped and ready for what the media sometimes throws at them. So it is a very critical job. And Hendrick Motorsport releasing their own comment earlier today. This broke just after 5:30 p.m. today, and we were on the news. And it was just it's heartbreaking kind of seeing this just go all over social media. And it was like wildfire, I think, especially because of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And then you had Darlington this weekend, right? So just a terrible loss. Gordon, he's worked with Edwards for many years, but he's the vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, right? So, I mean, in a sense, although he's been a driver with Hendrick, Mr. Edwards saw him grow up through the ranks. That's pretty cool as well. So, any other intricacies that makes this story interesting, or anything that you can shed a light on from maybe Mr. Edwards' life, or anything else that maybe you saw on social media that kind of piqued your interest at all?
Sure. There was one tweet I saw. I'm gonna try to pop it up.
Yeah.
We're just filling air at the moment.
But just give us a second here.
Yeah, I'll find the tweet. But he was. It does seem like he was a very iconic person. People were saying he was so golden. Apparently, one person who lost their life in the September 11th attack. It turned out that his son was a huge Jeff Gordon fan, and Mr. Edwards actually found out who he was and reached out to him and invited him later that year to the race in Kansas. And that it just goes to show how iconic of a man Mr. Edwards was behind the scenes. Like a lot of these stories, I'd never heard of that until I read it right now. And it's just amazing how golden a person could be without being super public about it, or people super knowing.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of times these men and women work in the shadows, so we don't necessarily know their names until wins or unfortunately sometimes losses happen. But it really is striking to see, because a lot of success does revolve and seem to be placed on directors of communication shoulders, especially for drivers when it comes to that. So, man, great to have your expertise here. I got to ask this follow-up question. Darlington, an iconic track. How was that race? That was fun, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was my first time at Darlington. Obviously, I moved from Texas a few years ago, not too close to South Carolina.
Yeah.
But it was awesome seeing the lady in black in person. And, seeing those cars run right up against the wall. I mean, there's nothing like it. The race itself was a sight to see. I mean, William Byron led almost the whole thing. I thought he was going to pull through. Pull. Friend
of the show. That's right, Jeb Goldman.
Live Impact News alumni.
Hendrick Motorsport guy.
He was there leading almost the whole race, and then kind of a chaotic pit cycle happened and shuffled him out of the lead, and Denny Hamlin ended up winning it at the end. But really awesome to be there, right there in pit road. You grow up, like I said, in Texas, so far from racing. You play the games, you read the stories, and then to finally be there, like literally a pit road wall away from William Byron's team doing a pit stop. It's definitely really cool.
Well, and I mean, you have COTA, right? I mean, but that just got added pretty recently, or the last couple of years, to the NASCAR, and proves to be a really, really cool track for them to race around. I mean, you have MotoGP that races there, Formula One races there, IndyCar sometimes can go there as well and test. So it is cool to see. Let me get. I know we didn't have this on the docket today, but what are your presumptions about the season ahead in terms of where the standings are, right? What are you thinking for? We just saw the NASCAR Cup champions head to the White House the last couple of days with Penske. What do you think is going to happen this year? Who do you think is going to win the championship? Can you put that out there?
Oh man, it's such a
it's a tight battle, right?
It's such a gamble because the way the point system is nowadays, you have to wait till the playoffs, and then you have to wait till really the last race of the year until you know who's actually going to win it. But
it's true.
Joe Gibbs Racing is looking really strong this year. Denny Hamlin's won the last 2 races. Christopher Bell won 3 races in a row earlier this year, and I mean, you can never count out Hendrick Motorsports. William Byron's looking really good. Chase Elliott is running really well. He hasn't won any races this year, but
fast cars though.
But he's looking really well. So my money would be on anyone in Joe Gibbs or anyone in Hendrick this year.
Awesome. Well, I'm actually headed up to Hendrick Motorsport in the next couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to seeing their factory and their setup, and hopefully we can create a bigger partnership, not just Willie Byron, but with the entire team. Obviously, terrible news today, so we appreciate you speaking on that. But it is good to get more of a weighty understanding of who that person was, Mr. Edwards, and really what he meant to the NASCAR world. So, Nathan, I know you got more work to do. I'll let you get going. Hopefully we'll see you back on the WCNC Plus stream